Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, I'm going to go over socks at skill level 4, 5, and 6. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the strategies for using socks, and I forgot to cover that in my initial video for socks. I do have another video that covers socks at skill level 4, 5, and 6. In that video, I did cover some of the stats, but I didn't go over the strategy, so I'm going to cover that in this video instead. So for socks at skill level 4, 5, and 6, there are two differences, and actually there's two differences regardless of what level you have him at, and that's how many Tsums you need to clear off the screen before you activate his ability. The second component is how big the clears are going to be, or how many Tsums are going to be cleared off the screen. Socks' ability is relatively standard in terms of how many Tsums he'll clear off the screen during the ability. The way Socks' ability is structured is the higher you have his skill level, the more abilities you'll be able to activate per game. And also during his animation, you're going to be able to clear more Tsums off their screen. And earlier I did mention that Socks' ability is relatively standard, and that's because you're guaranteed that amount, with the exception if you don't have enough Tsums on the screen or if you have big Tsums on the screen. So let's cover some of the strategy first, since I didn't cover that in the earlier video. So to use Socks, you want to make sure you're able to use the carryover effect. And to use that effect essentially is you just want to spam the ability button as you're clearing Tsums off their screen. So if you're not too familiar with what the carryover effect essentially is, let's say you need to clear 20 socks off their screen and you end up clearing 24 socks off the screen. Those additional 4, if you're not spamming the ability button, those actually go to waste. But if you have the abilities activated while you're spamming the ability button, those additional 4 will go into the next charge up. So the next charge, you're only going to need to get 16 instead of 20. And it doesn't work perfectly, by the way, so don't expect that to work all the time. Some of it will go into the fever bar and not your charger bar. I haven't necessarily figured out why that is, but it doesn't work one-to-one, so just be aware of that. The second thing you want to do when you're using Socks is try to clear a magic bubble before activating his ability. Especially when you have Socks' ability at a higher skill level, so for like skill level 5 and 6. The reason why you want to do that is sometimes when you're playing, you actually don't have enough Tsums on the screen. When you're playing Socks at skill level 6, he's supposed to clear a total of 35 Tsums off the screen during the ability. So if you don't have 35 Tsums on the screen, then he's not going to clear that amount of Tsums. It's going to be whatever that's left on the screen. But if you pop a magic bubble beforehand, it's going to trigger all the Tsums to fall down immediately. So even if you can't see the Tsums falling down, it's actually where the timer and the score is. The Tsums are falling from there, so you're going to get that 35 clear regardless. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is a side-by-side comparison of Socks' ability activated at the same time. So what you'll see here is the full animation, and it goes by relatively quickly, which I really like. So let me slow this down so we can analyze it a little bit better. So I find it really funny. I'm not actually sure if Captain Lightyear is kicking Socks into the air, throwing him, or if Socks gets scared and then jumps up. But pretty funny that Socks gets thrown into the air and then a bunch of Tsums gets cleared off their screen. So this amount is going to be, or not the amount is going to be standard, but where the Tsums are cleared is going to be random. There's no actual pattern to this, but the number of Tsums are going to be relatively standard, with the exception if you have a big Tsum on the screen or if you have not enough Tsums on the screen. But assuming you have no big Tsums on the screen and you have enough Tsums on the screen, then skill level 4 will always get you 29, skill level 5 will always get you 32, and at skill level 6 you're always going to get 35. So if you want to assume that's relatively consistent, earning you roughly the same amount of coins and same amount of score, then Socks is great for that. But just know that Socks is not going to be amazing for coins and not that great for score either. It's going to be roughly mediocre. But Socks will generate a score bubble at the very end every single ability, so that's another benefit. If you are looking for a Tsum that makes a score bubble, then Socks will always deliver a score bubble after every ability. So I also want to show you guys what happens when there is a big Tsum on the screen. Like I mentioned earlier, if there is a big Tsum on the screen, your standard is going to go up by 4. So let's say if you're only supposed to get 32, which is for skill level 5, if you have a big Tsum on the screen, you're actually going to end up with 36. And I have two examples of that. This happened to me in skill level 5 and skill level 6 gameplay. So check this out. For skill level 5, I'm only supposed to get 32, but I ended up with 36 here instead. As for skill level 6, I'm supposed to get 35, but I ended up with 39. So essentially, whenever there's a big Tsum on the screen, just plus 4 and that's what you're going to get. And if you get 2 big Tsums on the screen, then just do plus 8. And whatever that base is, plus 8, that's what you're going to get. So if you get 2 big Tsums on the screen for a skill level 5, then that's going to be 28. Another thing I noticed is that if you have a big Tsum on the screen, you're pretty much guaranteed that that big Tsum is going to be cleared off the screen. But if you're looking to get a big bubble on the screen or get a magic bubble on the screen, you might want to try to make that chain before activating the ability. That way you get that extra magic bubble. So overall, I think Socks is a very easy Tsum to use and has a really fun animation. If you are looking for a Tsum that makes a score bubble, then Socks is a really good Tsum for that. However, if you're looking for a Tsum that gets you a high score or gets you a large amount of coins, unfortunately, Socks is not the best Tsum for that. And also, Socks is not a limited Tsum, so what that means is that he's gonna end up in the premium box after this month anyways, so you have more opportunities to get him in the future, so you don't necessarily need to rush to try to get one copy of him. He will be a little bit more difficult to get though once the lucky time is over. So overall, I would say save your coins and don't invest in Socks, especially if you're thinking about using your skill tickets. Definitely don't do it and save them. Alright, so let's take a look at the results for these 3 game demonstrations here. So at the end of these gameplays, for skill level 4, I ended up with 1,954 coins. For skill level 5, I got 3,469. For skill level 6, I got 3,583. And also keep in mind that I'm playing with the 5-4 on, so I'm spending 1,800 coins already. So although I am getting my coins back using the 5-4, it's really not worth it. It might be worth it if you have the 5-4 and the coin boost. So if you have Socks at skill level 4, it is worth it to use the 5-4 and coin boost. However, there are better Tsums out there, so I would recommend you to just use another Tsum and not use Socks to earn a lot of coins. And score isn't that amazing either. For skill level 4, I got 5 million. Skill level 5, I got 7.6 million. And skill level 6, I got 8.2, which is pretty good. But there are definitely better Tsums out there that you could use to get a high score. Especially for this month, you might want to invest in Captain Lightyear. I think he's going to be a high score in the future. So comparing all 6 of these skill levels, you'll be able to see that there is a gradual increase in both the score as well as the coins, but you'll notice that it's really not going to be good to use until skill level 4. So I would recommend you to save your coins and not invest in Socks. So that's my review for Socks. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video or at least find it entertaining. And if you guys would like to see more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching.